At this point, we shouldn't even be surprised anymore, right? We get crossovers every other week in Grand Summoners, let's be honest here. But this new one that's coming out is kind of weird. If you guys haven't heard the news yet, on the Japanese version, a brand new crossover has been announced, and this crossover is called Black Rock Shooter Dawnfall. That is a mouthful. So for short, I'm just going to call it Black Rock. And this is definitely out of left field. Apparently this was an anime that just recently finished. I myself have never heard of it or heard anyone ever talk about it. So I have no idea what the character designs are supposed to be influenced by. I took a little bit of a look at it and it looks like they're kind of supposed to be mechs, maybe? Androids, possibly? Cyborgs? Who knows? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I looked at this crossover because usually whenever we get a crossover that no one knows about, the characters are somewhat good. Like, let's say for an example, Gon Kamui. Serpa was really great. Shugimoto could have been a little bit more desirable, of course, but he was still pretty solid too. But with this crossover, man, these characters are just like garbage. They're not good. Like a lot of them, it's kind of like this crossover was like an afterthought. Only thing that it was supposed to be used for is maybe promotion for the anime, and that was it. But it seems really weird. Not all the characters are bad, but they're not as good as what we've been getting from crossovers. So without further ado, let me not beat around the bush anymore. Let's talk about these characters. So first and foremost, we have Empress, aka Black Rock Shooter. So Empress is a water machine. As you see here, these are her stats. This is her kit. She's able to increase her own attack. She's also able to reduce the enemy's water and physical resistance by 10%. This is stackable. And with her true art, she reduces the enemy's crit resist by 100%, and then for 6 seconds you increase all allies' arts by 2 times the number of water allies in the party. Her passives are Star of Hope. If over 80% HP, you increase your own arts by 3 per second, and when unaffected by stats elements, you increase your own arts by 3 per second. You increase machine ally stats by 10%, and you increase damage to fire enemies by 15%. We'll talk more about Empress in just a second. Next is going to be Dead Master. Dead Master is an Earth. We don't know her typing yet. I'm assuming a machine as well. These are her slots. These are her stats. You increase your own arts by 30. You reduce the enemy's Earth resist by 35%, and then the true art, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just gonna let y'all, kind of get an idea of who this is supposed to be. 110,000% earth damage physical. Reduce the enemy's evasion by 50%, and you increase your own accuracy by 50% during true arts. Break 1800. With her passives, she has Madman. If HP is above 80%, you ignore 100% of the enemy's defense. You also increase your own paralysis resistance by 80%, and you increase your own magic resistance by 10%. And next we have Strength, which I personally think is one of the coolest looking characters from this whole thing. All physical slots, and it's a break character. Y'all know how I feel about break characters, right? Like, I mean, I'll put the stats on screen, but no. So first and foremost, we got Empress, okay? Empress is okay. It reminds me a lot of the water Hatsune Miku, right? In terms of slots, in terms of like what it's doing, but maybe a little bit more potential. It says that we don't know what the Archon type is currently, but I'm almost positive it's going to be type E. That's pretty much known as the crossover Archon type at this point. But I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. I think that this is a character that is a good Archgener, definitely, if you have water allies in the party because she wants to be on a water team. But at the same time, I feel like that you could also use this character as just a crit buffer. Apart from that, I don't think this character's that great. Like, it's just, why would I put this on my team at the moment? Like, I'm thinking of water characters that came out recently on JP, and I mean, we had a few okay ones that I can't think of right now, classic OP. It seems kind of weird that this is the character that they chose, and the only thing this character really has going for it is its massive true art. It has a massive true art multiplier. It's gonna hit hard from what it seems like, and yeah, apart from that, I'm okay with it maybe. One thing that I will say that this may have some synergy with is that, let's say you fight a boss that has like, I don't know, 100% crit resist, so you need 200% crit rate to get over it, or you need to lower its crit resistance so you can crit with like, a crit buffer. So that's where I can see this kind of being used. It's a very niche situation, but this could have some very good counterplay, so to speak, with bosses that have high crit resist, and you use someone like Vox or another 100% crit buffer, or an equip that has a 100% crit buff. Next is Dead Master, and Dead Master, I gave you guys some time to process what this true art is, but this is Deadass Simon's Phantom Bullet. Reduce the enemy's evasion by 50%, and you increase your own accuracy by 50%. This is literally the definition of, hey, you can copy my homework, but change it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This character does ignore 100% of the enemy's defense while HP is above 80%, and overall, I think this character is going to be a pretty strong nuking character, or just damage dealer for Mono Earth. But that's about it. It's not offering anything else, which I guess is okay. but at the same time, it's just, I don't know. Also, what's up with the Nickelodeon slime happening in the artwork? Do y'all see this? Next is strength. And like I said, this character is just, yeah. This is pretty much another attempt at making a breaker that's actually usable. But you guys know, breakers and grand summoners just aren't it. Why would you use a breaker unless you absolutely need to? Like, there's just so many negatives to using a breaker. For one, it takes way too long. If you need to break the boss, okay, that's fine. But if you don't need to break the boss, there's no reason to even utilize the mechanic, which maybe should be something that needs to be touched on in grand summoners and, you know, the grand scheme of things, because it is kind of weird that the mechanic itself is heavily slept on and there's not even like a reason to use it, or, you know, like strategies that really benefit from it apart from like break nuking, of course. So I would like to see that getting touched on a little bit. Maybe add more Punisher passives or something where if an enemy's broken, you know, you boost your damage like crazy, so it actually kind of signifies like a reason to go into that break, which is kind of what they did here. I mean, hey, granted, strength, if you break an enemy, 200% on this bad boy. All right, this guy maybe, or girl, I can't exactly tell. I think it's a girl. Either way, it's a machine, if I'm not mistaken. This thing, 200% damage when in break. And then if you activate your true art, you increase all your arts damage, and you increase the damage that the enemies take in break by 100%. So this may be the new odious killer. You don't got est, go for strength. But if you got est, you don't need strength. This is literally est v2. Like, now looking at it, this is actually est v2. You know, every single one of these characters copied the flow of another character that was already in Grand Summoners. That's what I'm noticing now. That is crazy. Like, Empress is another version of Hatsune Miku, Water Hatsune Miku. Headmaster is almost Simon, just as a different element. And then Strength is literally est. That is crazy. It's actually crazy. Like, now since I'm looking at it, like, I'm blown away by this. Overall, the whole crossover, at least in terms of the characters, kind of whack. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Very lackluster. Probably, I want to say the worst crossover we got so far. I don't know if they're going to show off another character to kind of like quote unquote redeem this crossover. I highly doubt it. Because even if they release another character, it still doesn't, you know, change the fact that the other three are kind of like, at best, maybe A tier. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these characters are uber top tier. Either way, that's gonna be it for this one, man. I don't know how to feel about this crossover. You guys tell me down below how you all are feeling. Maybe I'm bashing it too hard. Maybe I need to wait a little bit, see how these characters are when they come out. But just on paper, compared to, you know, the other stuff we got recently, very lackluster, at least to me. Thank you all for coming out, man. It's been your boy P. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. I post this type of content pretty much every single day of the week, apart from Sundays. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoyed the video, hey man, you know, like the video. Helps me out quite a bit. And if you enjoyed this one, highly recommend checking out either one of the videos popping up on your screen right now, especially the summon video. It's a great video. Highly recommend it. And oh yeah, before you leave, don't forget to drink water.